And that full-bodied tattoo suit of Albert Van Turnhout's wouldn't give you much change from 25 grand. Well, I like poking behind the scenes and see how things actually work, and I take that not only to the tattoo area, but also out into the streets and into the things that we see in our everyday life. Okay, Brian.
Jerry, it's good to have you here, even on an occasion like this.
That's why, I mean, I've always been intrigued from the outside and wondered what it looked like on the inside. I was just going to go and have a little peek.
We can do that.
What a difference from the grandiose brick outside to the inside here, Brian. Different feel.
Totally different. This is very much a human dimension sort of a building, round, so that the people are close together, intimate, with marvellous acoustics, which you can probably already pick up. A place of celebration, of music, of drama, a place for the family, a place for a congregation.
What's your favourite moment or type of worship in here, Brian?
Oh, the celebratory worship, when the congregation lifts their voices and sings, and the organ trumps, and yes, that's the moment with great high enthusiasm.
Aesthetics is here, especially in the windows.
Yes, the coloured windows make a dimension that just lift the whole building. As one of the children said, speaking of the lower windows, the saints are the ones that the light shines through. Well, that happens here. The light shines through the windows of the saints. This is the place. Well, that's it, Jerry.
I mean, there's nothing else like it. Now, what's the theme here?
Well, it's Italiano Byzantine. There you are. It's really Moorish. The tall, straight-sided tower, which is quite distinctive. I've seen one other, and there are a couple in Spain, but it's quite distinctive. And the elegant brickwork picks up one of the great Moorish traditions of decoration by coloured brick. And you can see it in all the brickwork along the front. This is an absolutely unique building in terms of the elegant brickwork. The bricklayer regarded it as his masterpiece. He saw it as being the absolute climax of his career as a bricklayer.
Now, a much smaller part is this other building here, Brian. This is not part of the great grandiose structure we've got.
Well, it isn't, Jerry. It's the extension of what happens in there. What happens in there is the worship of the congregation. What happens here is the work of the congregation.
What sort of things go on with the work side?
Well, we've got all sorts of organisations meet here, youth organisations, adult study groups, all sorts of community groups.
I bet if I wander in there now, Brian, there is something happening. Would that be right?
Well, there's always something happening, yes. Sometimes there's 4 things happening at once. But just for now, I think we should go and have a look at one of the heart jobs of the congregation, and that's the health clinic.
Hi, Libby. This is the doctor's surgery, is it?
That's right. It's just the same as any other doctor's surgery.
Although I noticed the waiting room on the way through, that was just a lot bigger than a normal waiting room.
Well, we just use the rooms that are here, so these are the first 2 Sunday school rooms.
And coffee.
Yes, people can have a cup of coffee or tea and a biscuit while they're waiting.
Who uses the service?
Anybody who is in some financial difficulty, who's travelling around, who doesn't have a doctor, people perhaps who are in the Women's Refuge or the Salvation Army hostel.
And what's the payment?
They don't pay for their consultation, and in fact, when they get their prescriptions, they're given a special form, which means the pharmacist fills their prescriptions free.
Well, there you are, Jerry. You've had your tour. What do you think now?
Well, next time I come past here, I know there's a lot more going on than just bricks and a bit of fancy architecture.
There's a good deal more, Jerry, and I think it's really summed up in the idea of the shepherd looking after the sheep. There's a lot of things happening here that sort of fill out the picture that's carried in the window over here. The good shepherd and the sheep.
Here we are, we've seen two different forms of artwork there today, both very, very impressive in their own right. We had the tattooing there, First Church, with the beautiful windows and also that structure. I mean, you walk around the First Church and every few steps you take you're getting a different perspective on that building. It's amazing. Now we know what goes on inside there too. Good to see the outreach into the community and helping those who have trouble getting to the doctor.